Alright, so the security guard here walked up to me in Starbucks and asked me if I'm autistic. She started off, she was telling me about somebody she knows who's autistic. That was Roberta Richards 10 years ago. This lady was telling me, she's like, I could tell. I see you pacing, and I was explaining to her I don't mean nothing mean by it. I'm not interested in hurting people. I'm reliving a bunch of trauma and having positive people there in person, people familiar that you know and love and care about. That helps you not to be stuck on that shit. But in my situation, I needed these people to stop or I'm permanently stuck on that shit. They needed to leave me alone. They needed to tell the truth. And because I was never allowed an honest day in court, the rest of my life will be torture. And you don't get that. You don't get the dynamics of it because you don't live it. And that must make it okay. It doesn't make it okay. I got homeless people. No matter where I go, I'm good to homeless people, you know? So, here they remember me from last year, or from the beginning of this year during the winter. And they helped me out a little bit, you know? Hey man, can I use your lighter? I'll give you a cigarette. Well, yeah. You don't got to give me a cigarette to use my lighter. You ask. It's that simple. When people asked for my help, they got the help from me that they asked for. When I asked for their help, it was a completely different story. It was only the help that they wanted to believe that I needed. I'm explaining to them what it is that I need. They're like, no, Sean, you need this, 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 and this. No, you're wrong because you're not in the situation. You're assuming what it is I'm doing or not doing. I got screenshot after screenshot and post after post about me trying to get a goddamn advocate. And meanwhile, a year after I was trying to scream at the top of my lungs to get one because, oh my God, this abuse needed to stop. A year after that, Mandy's like, well, you need to get an advocate. I'm like, I know, I've been trying. I need your help. I need all of this bullshit to stop long enough for me to be able to do that. And I need a safe environment to function in and able to do that. Charges should have been pressed against Ken and Leah. And charges should have been pressed against Natalie Bollinger. Every step of the way, the officers did everything that they could just to eat up time, to prevent me from being able to make a report against them, to take advantage of my disabilities to prevent me from making a report, to assault and abuse me for trying in person. Meanwhile, the Bollingers and their cronies did whatever they want. Ted Bollinger raped his own fucking daughter, for Christ's sake. And I'm the one abused like he's some sort of fucking child molester. James Payton beat up Jamie multiple times and stalked her to her house. And I'm the one who gets treated like he victimizes women. Fuck you. You don't like my filthy fucking mouth? Then mind your own goddamn business. You should have never gotten involved. The people who should have been involved is me and the fucking cops and the fucking Bollingers. We should have been able to hash this out like adults, but the police were not interested in anything that I had to say. They were only interested in hurting me and covering up their own wrongdoings afterwards. Like, how can you just watch this shit happen? How can you not realize that, holy fuck, no, I'm not right in the fucking head. I've endured too much. And then I have to go to my predators and their friends to ask these predators to put a stop to it. Predators like the police. That first night at Candace's, when people were sending her pictures of her old living room, she should have called the cops then. She's like, it's no big deal. I'm like, no, it is a big deal. It's evidence. What she did to me because I threatened to turn in Officer Michael Beard. Imagine that. An entire year telling you guys these stories and where to get the evidence. I just needed you to turn it in because they won't listen to me. That's what the term mentally ill does. When they call you mentally ill, you need somebody there on your side or they can do whatever they want. In person, or they can do whatever they want. Even with all of this evidence out in the open to show God and the whole fucking world the truth. There's no public outcry because the way I was painted and because I was never allowed to defend myself. Never allowed. You can't do anything about it because you're in the wrong state, right? These other people were allowed to make reports from out of state now, weren't they? Kara Johnson Miles, wasn't she? These officers were allowed to make statements from across jurisdictional borders, but I'm not allowed to talk about any of the stuff from these other jurisdictions that these officers did. They poked me with a stick and poked me with a stick and poked me with a stick until I defend myself and go, hey look, he's dangerous! I shouldn't have had to defend myself! And I didn't even get to defend myself. I just had to take the abuse and take the abuse and take the abuse. For the love of God, someone protect me from these predators!